Hello and welcome to another Let's Play. Me, GamerWolfSix of Major Minor. Before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, it's on Steam for free. Anyways, on the last Let's Play, we went on a character ride to the castle where Ryo told us as much backstory as he could. You know, the millennia and all that stuff. It'd be hard to remember everything. And was there anything else with him? I guess it was just that we're the only ones that can bring him back, people back, and you know, technical stuff. And then me and Sam here went to the gates where we had our fortune told. Hers was a happy one, and when he held my hand, he's like, "Death! Death will be upon you! Horrible things will happen!" You know, Grandpa from The Simpsons. But I'm not actually lying. He's like, you guys go along. And he's like, so much death. This is bad. Anyways, time to start and finish this game. Maybe not for this Let's Play though, but we're getting close. We'll finish this route of the game anyways. And I did find the guide on my phone. Talk about hospitality, am I right? Maybe he didn't like what he saw. Nobody pays for bad news after all. That is, if he even saw anything. He probably just noticed the long lineup. He had to push us inside to keep it schedule. I have to admit, there was something a bit off about Lito. If he didn't like what he saw, that was an ill omen, especially given my role as the savior of Terra. I shrug it off. I don't believe in that anyway. Whatever happens next, Lito would never predict, could. Especially if Ryo was right about my true potential. So, this is what the castle looks like. It's the prettiest thing I've ever seen. There's not one spot of dirt anywhere. And everything is so shiny as well. It's almost like a whole new world. The rest of Terra isn't kept this clean. She smiles as she examines the royal halls. There were places on Earth exactly like this, so to me it wasn't exactly a treat. Look, everyone's going over there. That must be the way to the ballroom. I was gonna say bathroom. She points to where the crowd of people were walking. I guess that's where the Rio party would be happening. Oh, but I guess you have other plans. You're supposed to meet with Velasquez. I guess I can check the party out myself. Or perhaps I can do some sleuthing. The other areas of the castle may be empty. This might be my best chance to look around. She examines her surroundings more intently. Did she mention she wanted to extract some information? But the party in the ballroom also had promise. I wonder if my meeting with Velasquez could wait. Should I leave Sam behind or ask her to the ballroom? Ooh. No. No. Well, I would like to play the horny and go to the ballroom with her, but I don't, even though it says hentai for this game, I don't think it is. So, I'm gonna go to, like, meet the king, because it is a story thing. The thing that did get me about Winds of Change is like, hey, we need to hurry, at which point I could talk to this person and have their whole life story told to me. And then we could continue on, and I could click on everything in the room, and the game wouldn't be like, hey, you ran out of time. But since this thing does have two choices, let's do the right one. You know, the one that I would do, even with the horny. I don't know, this is where we part ways. After all, my meeting with Velasquez was important. Alright, I expected as much. Don't get into too much trouble, alright? Maybe you'll see you around after your chat. She runs into the opposite direction of the crowd. I'm sure we'll find all manner of cool information. With that, I turn towards the grand staircase. Sometimes you just have to, like, heck up your throat so that it's a bit cleaner. Didn't get it, though. Unfortunately. Velasquez's throne room must be just up these steps. Key. Place a foot at the bottom step and look up. It was happening. I'd finally meet the king of the dead and the universe. Who knows? Everything I've done has led up to this moment. I sat on the stairs with my mind hard at work. Imagine a million different scenarios in my head. Soon enough, I know the truth about everything. What my power truly was, and what Velasquez wanted. When I reach the top of the stairs, I see a large door. Clearly, this was the throne room of Velasquez. I go up audibly and stare into its intricate design. It did a good job in making the inhabitant seem grand. I guess he wouldn't have to throw this ball since his opponents ran, too. I opened the door with a large sense of hesitance, wondering what fate awaited me and all my friends. I guess this might have assumed that we picked the other thing, right? Who knows? Yeah, of course. I hope things are going well. I'm starting to worry, to be honest. Today is a big day for all of us. Kaylin, it'll be fine. You're worrying over nothing. I'd say they got this one in the bag. Besides, you and Riley are both here. If anything happens, you'll protect us. We don't have anything to worry about. Sorry, I guess you're right. I've just been a little on edge lately. Being in prison, and then that big fight. Why didn't anybody come sooner? I sent mail for Emilian and Conrad. This all could have been avoided. There's no point worrying over the past. Now, if you don't remember, PB either destroyed or withheld information, or withheld the letters, because Riley, I think it was Riley, was saying that he'll give information to PB about their mother. I'm not sure if PB knows their mother's dead. What's the point of that? But, yeah. Remember, the future is what's important, especially with what Dark is doing. I really believe in him, you know? He hasn't even been gone for that long, but I can already start to feel change. Sorry. I believe I believe it when I see it, PB. And sorry, but I need to be excused. Some time alone would be great right now. Whoa, what's gotten into him? Does he need to paw off? Oh well, I'm sure he'll be fine. Is everything okay, PB? Galen looked a little bit upset. I'm sure everything will be fine, but I feel like we did more harm than good, especially with what we did for Riley. Well, he's got what he deserved in the end. He won't be able to push us around anymore. True, but innocent people died, and I'm scared it might not be over yet. Just then, a visitor knocks on the tavern doors. Who knocks on tavern doors? People can't even read anymore. The sign says we're closed for the day. Okay, fair enough. Oh, Nagi and Nami. In disregard to PB's declaration, they knock harder. Don't worry, PB, I'll handle it. I don't think that we're about to stop. Fidget leaves his brother behind and goes to the door. They keep knocking. It must be important. I hope it's Mom. That would be nice. He slowly opens it and greets the persistent guest. Yep, I was right. Hey there, welcome to the Wayfarer. We're closed, but I'll help anyway. Is there something I can do for you today? This is the testament to Father's failure. But to satisfy an enraged population, built it to satisfy an enraged population, I'd say it's no longer needed, Nagi. Also, again, it's like billions of people on a planet. He built one tavern Correct as usual, sister. And no, we don't need any help. But you're a cute pest, I'll give you that. Yeah, it's a shame he had to get involved. Let's get this out of the way quickly, Nagi. I don't like killing little ones. Interesting. The Future We Create, Chapter 10. Guess this might be the last one then. This experience is surreal. I don't know how to feel. After everything I've been through, I'm finally here. A whirlwind of emotion overtakes me, and I panic. There are 2 thrones in this room, side by side. One is beautiful white, and the other is dark black. I wonder, which one does Velasquez rule Terra from? I scan the room and take in my surroundings. There's a part of me that finds this room familiar. Of course, I accept that as an impossibility. Where's this music sound familiar from? I don't know. There's no way I've been here before. I'm not sure where Velasquez is, but this concerns me. And as if to startle, the door behind me slams shut. Quickly turn and look at the man clad in royal gear. It's finally happening. This is Velasquez. Oh, that's a different image. After all this time, you're finally here. I started to think you might not make it. Please, offer me your hand, Dark. Puts forth his hand and looks at me expectantly. It's not in my nature to leave the king waiting like this. I quickly put my hand forward and introduce myself. He has a firm grip and happily leads the interaction. I know exactly who you are. There's no need for introductions today. If I'm not mistaken, you know me as well. He releases my grip, the grip on my hand, and walks away. Moving towards the thrones, I promptly follow suit. However, he doesn't sit. He stands between them. I was told you met Nami and Nagi earlier. Like, in a whole bunch of timelines. It's just absolutely crazy. That must have been unfortunate. Errant children often cause headaches. There's one hand on each of the thrones and sighs. Errant children? What did he mean by that? I get the feeling I'm not in for a short discussion. Honestly, I'm not sure where to start. I envisioned this day for a long time, but now that you're here, I'm at a loss. I'm sure you know about the truth of Terra, a reservoir for the souls of the dead, my own personal heaven or hell. Things are a little more complex, however. I'm sure you have lots of questions, but permit me to speak before you inquire. You deserve to know the truth of things, so I'll be nothing less than transparent. Please, sit tight and listen to my tale. The people know I'm not from Terra, but they don't know my true origin, nor the reason I live for an eternity. I come from a large federation of worlds, a galactic community living in harmony. Of course, this was millions of years ago. I can no longer be certain of their status. Terra does not exist in the same space, so I've been out of contact for a long time. Earth as well cannot reach out. We are in our own reality plane. Billions of these closed-off spaces exist. They're given complete autonomy. You could even say they get stranded, unable to return to the Federation. When I left it behind, it was hurting. We were in need of new sources of energy, so they looked to the brightest minds. They gave these visionaries world stones, the technology to create these planes, and the ability to shape their own reality. It was their job to found a utopia, and to create a new source of energy, something that could help us stay afloat. And if they did make a new energy source, they'd use it to break out of their plane. they'd present this power to the Federation. But the power required would be vast. Breaking free would be a sign of success. Otherwise, they'd be stranded forever. Though, that wasn't really a bad thing. That was the secret nature of this project. If the Federation died, we would live. If their catastrophe would not reach us inside. And we would only break out if we succeeded. It was a failsafe on both directions. Yes, I received several of these stones. I used them to try to save the Federation, but instead, I caused so much disaster. The first thing I did was create Terra, a place for me to hide if things failed. My very own utopia, away from harm. Then, I had to create another world. A world where I'd conduct this experiment. After all, I was a Federation scientist. But I thought outside the box. If I created it, I knew I'd fail. I was uncertain and afraid. Our deepest feelings enter our creations. I couldn't paint this canvas without doubt. If I did, it would quickly meet its end. So I created a sort of bridge, a place between worlds, connecting them. Somewhere to experiment and watch from afar. A celestial observatory deck, you could say. Close, yet too far for collateral damage. That's when I took the next step in my plan. I used the stones to create two beings. They're made in the image of perfection. Like Kingdom Hearts characters. They wouldn't have the doubt that I did. Their sole purpose was to succeed. Error wasn't in their nature. They'd surely carry out my goal. Yes, I created Nami and Nagi. I created Terra, and the Ark as well. Let's see, that's like Terra, Earth, Ark, Nami, Nagi, so that's 5 out of the 7 stones, I think he said. All using the power from these world stones. After that, I fixed the stones to a spear, and gave my creations a special gift. The ability to create a perfect world. They made what would become Earth. Oh, so the legend of the thing came true? The Japanese one? Standing on a bridge, they used the spear. They fulfilled the duty I created them for. But I learned perfection is fleeting. Or at least sabotaged by our own curiosity. They want to know more about themselves. This desire for knowledge hurts the earth. They started to neglect their duties. I had no choice. I had to open up to them. But they were not accepting of the truth. We were all thralls of the Federation. They said they'd rather not exist. I felt guilt for creating them. They only lived to serve the Federation. But instead of guilt, they felt anger. I couldn't stand up to them. They embodied the power of the stones, but they held a weaponized version too. I begged them not to kill me, but they said they had far worse plans. They'd make the Federation suffer first. They waited to see who was playing wanted to see who was playing God. Who was condemning people to these fates, even if it was for the greater good. I'm sure they would want to kill them. They'd seek to tear the Federation apart. They were convinced this was a just cause. To that end, they broke free. You see, the stones weren't living beings. They couldn't grow stronger with experience. But Nami and Nagi could, and did. I cursed the fact that I created them. My abstract thinking condemned us all. But they didn't just leave me behind. They engaged in a ritual before they left. Something to curse me for what I had done. They used the spear to plague the earth. Disease, famine, death, darkness, they wreaked havoc on what we created. This broke the spear into 3 fragments. 2 of them are the weapons they carry, and the third they hid away from me on Earth. They told me they would return one day, after they met the Federation leader. That's when they would finish me off. So they met the Federation leader? Huh. They wanted me to suffer for eternity, watch Earth fall apart from their curse, and see my entire cause fall before me. They had the power to destroy the galaxy. They'd rampage in search of freedom, the Federation, and never get that 3rd fragment. My creation would crumble before me. They would destroy the people I served, and then they would come back to kill me. At least, that's what they thought. But I'm not what you call foolish. I didn't give them all of the world's stones. I kept some to myself, a contingency plan, but this time I did the opposite. I created a being to help me rule Earth. However, I didn't model them to be perfect. I wouldn't hold them to such standards, but together we would rule over the worlds. They would call the Ark their home. Ryo was a fine ruler and son. He helped govern Nagi and Nami's curse. He was in control of the force of death. This helped Earth stay correctly populated. He could even prevent the spread of disease. He kept the balance of things in check. But I noticed something peculiar. A byproduct of my children using stones, death had an aspect of power to it. When someone died, energy was released. I don't know how to explain this, but it was an unfathomable amount. I guess you could call it a spirit. But we had no way to utilize that energy, so the spirit simply withered and vanished. At that point, Ryo had an idea. Their spirits would find a form on Terra. When they died, they came to my paradise. I agreed without a moment's hesitation. We put into effect as soon as we could. I used the last of my world stones for this, but I knew that it would be worth it. The energy started flowing through Terra. When they arrived, we wiped their memory. It made them think they fled their home. They wanted to start life anew on Terra. The new life energy would no longer be wasted. We even created a questionnaire for them. They told us their likes, and we catered. Terra had its own laws of reality. It expanded to accommodate this traffic. We could call it a growing paradise. That is what we gave Terra its image. We're always open for immigration. However, they were only coming from Earth. I did have an ulterior motive though. I wanted to grow this power on Terra. Maybe one day, it would be enough to escape. Then I would help the Federation, or if anything was left of it. I had no way of seeing the situation. But it didn't work as I intended. The power was far too diluted. I needed a way to concentrate it. However, I had other things to worry about. This traffic was starting to corrupt Terra. Nami and Nagi's curse was quickly spreading. The more people died, the worse it got. It even corrupted Ryo into what he is now. Warped his powers, gave him more abilities. Terra got the blunt end of it though. Disease, famine, death, it all came here. And no longer was the world expanding. It turned my paradise into a living hell. We became overpopulated very quickly. You couldn't walk without hitting someone. This made me realize something shocking. Nami and Nagi would be gathering power. Their rampage would result in lots of death. But they held the ability to concentrate it. If I wanted that, I needed the fragment. so Ryo and I started looking thoroughly. Me? We looked and searched all over Earth, in constant fear of Nagi and Nami's power. They had far too much of a head start. Eventually, we found the fragment. With everything in place, we planned. How do we grow enough power to stop them? We had to set a trap. They would likely sense energy, so we needed enough to lure them back. But my past had taught me one thing. The stones on my scepter were not enough. I needed to make something living, something that would grow exponentially. So the third fragment was a scepter? As unbelievable as this is, I was following along. He had a way of explaining things in a clear fashion. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Basically, we wanted to lure them back. We'd unleash my power and tap into theirs. After all, they were harvesting too. I had to assume they held more power, so I only needed to get their attention. When they came, we'd spring the trap. Everything would be present in one room. All three fragments, them and our lure. The battle would likely ensue. Everything would be connected. We could unleash every bit of power. That's when I'd break free from here. But I wouldn't stop at just that. I'd go to break free every reality plane, out of every reality plane. This would cause a massive chain reaction. And in the end, we'd all break free, be free. We'd live in true harmony, in harmony, like before. We'd open trade routes and help each other. All of the connections would be open. This has always been my goal, Dark. So, question, does the Federation not have death? Because Nagi and Nami created death? The Federation would live on, and billions of worlds would coexist. I'd do that, what no one else could accomplish. That's what I told the people, too. I was just selective in my wording. They would never know the true nature. Okay, let me make sure I've got this straight. He created gods, they went on to rebel, they cursed the earth, so Velasquez made Ryo, and eventually Terra became cursed as well. Nabi and Nagi wanted to destroy the Federation, so they were likely harvesting energy from death. This meant they were destroying reality planes. Velasquez wanted to kill them to save the Federation. But he wouldn't just stop at saving the Federation. He'd give freedom to all the reality planes. This would pull them into the same physical space. A new universe would be born, completely connected. If that was to happen, he'd need to lure them back. This meant concentrating power in his own vessel. If they came to harvest it, the battle would ensue. All of the power in a single room would be unleashed. That is what Velasquez would use to carry out his plan. It combined his energy with the energy they harvest. It would be like Nagi tried to unleash when Nagi tried to unleash my power. However, instead of destruction, it would be liberation. And that is one incredible fact dawned on me. Yes, I see you figured it out. About 10 years ago, I started a movement. I presented it as the Exodus Project. I promised I'd open all of the connections. It was always destined to fail, Dark. At least, the public would see it that way. But from my view, I set things in motion. I gathered many of Terra's brightest minds, much like the Federation did in the past. Together, we'd plan a course of action. We needed to create a living being. A vessel with the power of the World Stone. Such a feat seemed almost impossible. But one night, I was struck by inspiration, a method that would surely accomplish this. Of course, I could never tell the others. Involve their sacrifice, Dark. I killed them and stored them in myself, staff, until I had enough power to serve my goal. I'm not proud of my actions. I didn't want to take after Nami and Nagi, but I needed enough power to create a lure. Then Velasquez killed PB and Fidget's mother? That's a horrible thing to do. Shocked. Don't jump to conclusions, Stark. They're still alive and well, just held within the vessel I created. And that's where I was quite dishonest. The Exodus project was not a failure. In fact, it created you. Take a few steps back. My confusion intensifies. I start to panic. That was the last thing I expected. This feeling must be akin to what Nami and Nagi felt. I was just a pawn of Velasquez and the Federation? Please, my child, do not panic. It's not as complicated as you think. Allow me to continue explaining. You are to help Terra's overpopulation. You'd take a fraction of Earth's souls. This would ease our trouble and grow power. I don't understand that. But when a terrain died, they faded away. Their main power ended up wasted. So I made that go to you as well. I couldn't stop immigration completely. So I found a slight loophole, if you will. All of the power would still end up inside you. You house the souls of billions. There is limitless power within you. The most beautiful of my creations. I don't know how to feel. This doesn't make sense. What about my memories and my name? I know this must be a shocking revelation, but all these souls fight for dominance. You may inherit their memories or ideals. Your true name is not Dark Wolf. One of the lost souls gave you this moniker. Someone strong enough to influence you and control you. They did for a while now, but the other souls still fought this. You might have noticed some inner conflict. Maybe you said something you didn't mean, or your thoughts seemed unlike you. If not, then I consider yourself lucky. You have a sort of omnipotence. You can see the events happening far away from you, much like Ryo has a special sight. Okay, so there actually is an explanation why I can see these other events. Granted, for some reason doesn't seem to affect the main character. But you don't retain this information. Okay, fair enough. Only the souls that witness it do. It's weird, knowing and not knowing. That would be the source of any doubt. Memories conflicting with Dark Soul. It would definitely make you seem ignorant. But you are nothing of the sort, my child. And you won't hold these souls forever. You'll have freedom when the battle is over. You'll be able to retain your physical form, and you'll hold on to the strongest soul. You'll truly become dark. Darkness. That is, if there is enough power. Let me guess, I have to sacrifice myself? So we must hope you are strong enough, and that Nami and Nagi have enough as well. If you're not strong enough, you're gonna have to go back and do the true ending. I don't think I've ever been more confused. So, I was an amalgamation of billions of souls? And Dark was the name of the strongest soul within? I didn't like this, but I could gain my independence, and it would explain how I met with people who have died. They must have been stored in me as a vessel. There had to be a way to release them, or revive them. He doesn't mention Ryo or his plan. Was he keeping that a secret, even from Velasquez? Who's he? Me? Me no talk about Ryo and his plan? If that's the case, I feel good about my odds. Ryo had been growing his power for an eternity. but Ryo told me he didn't know what my power was. It's odd that sending souls to Terra was his idea. It wasn't a hard connection to make if you knew. They were both aware of the energy death created. Also, it's weird that we didn't consume corruption. It'd be another lie, or maybe he forgot. He'd be living the same cycle over and over. His only objective was to grow the power within me. I feel unworthy of such devotion, even from Ryo. But yes, that's the story. Now you know the entire truth. You were made to fight Nami and Nagi. How's your sword skills? You will defeat them and unleash the power. Then you can reshape reality as you wish. You don't have to take after my ideals. I know there will be no evil within you, so the universe is in capable hands. I trust your judgment, Dark Wolf. Just then, the throne room doors kicked open. I didn't even get a chance to process all of this, but that moment I'd realized I'd never get to. Nami strolls in down the red carpet towards us. What a beautiful story, Father. We came earlier, but then I just decided to listen through the door, you know? I didn't want to interrupt. That would be rude. Obviously warped in your favor. Don't listen to him, Dark. Nami, it's not yet time. I'm speaking with my child. We have much to discuss. So, the Exodus project made you, huh? I knew there was something about you, but I wasn't able to make the connection. Father mentioned the project succeeded, but I didn't know you were its creation. A living vessel, just like Nagi and I. You can't be the only one, though. We should have won in that ballroom. Someone tapped into the flow of power. Father, you're a horrible man. You went on to create more slaves. Why didn't you learn your lesson? I did, Nami. I truly did. That's why Dark and Ryo won't fail. I've placed all of my hope on them. So, the other one is called Ryo? Another name to add to my list. None have been able to escape my wrath. Father, you're a foolish man. I can't believe Dark would trust you. You only create others for your own gain. Nami looks at me, displaying signs of sadness. She lowers her sword, as if to show a lack of hostility. Father is a pawn, creating more pawns. He doesn't love his creations. If they rebel, he wants to kill them. I'm sure he's planning our demise. And it's likely he wants to use you. But that's all he ever does, use people. All of Earth, and all of Terra, it's full of pawns to achieve his goal. Renewed sustenance for the Federation. Nobody here exists beyond that purpose. And that is the hearth truth of things. The Federation thinks they can play God. Or at least, they think they did think that. What? Nami flourishes her sword before attacking Velasquez. She skewers the blade through his gut, smirking. Looking straight into his eyes, she laughs. Your Federation is no more, Father. Destroying it was almost too easy. Our sights have been set much higher now. But I've waited too long for this. The chance to destroy your dreams. And punish you for everything you've done. Blood drops to the floor, and I look on in shock. I want to do something, but I can't come between them. I'm paralyzed in fear as I watch Nami kill Velasquez. Nami, please. We had such hopeful existence. We had the potential to do anything. But in the end, we were slaves. I believe in a life of limitless purpose, not a life planned out by a creator. You cannot tie me down with strings, Father. We lost all hope when you told us the truth, and now I will do the same to you. Your Federation is gone, completely razed. You've waited millions of years, and it was all for nothing. No hope exists. You can't stop us. Velasquez trembles, losing a severe amount of blood. There is a distance between them, as the blade is so long. No, Nami, you're wrong. Hope will always exist within us, even when it seems like there is none. It is up to us to chase after it. Instead of that, you gave up. Only those who persevere will survive. He grabs the blade and pushes it deeper inside of him. It causes him more pain, but closes the distance. He takes steps as he does this, moving towards Nami. Father? You lashed out instead of looking for hope. I am not to blame for your tantrum, but there's one thing I know for sure. He impales himself further, taking more steps forward. A trail of blood spills behind him, and he gets weaker. You think you destroyed the Federation, but it is based on the idea of unity. And Nami, an idea can never die. He is finally close enough to take action. He grips the scepter and drives it through her chest. She grunts in pain, twisting the blade within him. Velasquez coughs up blood and turns to look at me. I knew this was over. He wasn't coming back. Dark, the rest is up to you. Shape reality as you see fit. Do what I always knew you could. Nami turns the gear on her blade, crying in pain. The room fills with the white light, but I can see the look on their faces. Sorrow. Like father and daughter regretting lost time. When it subsides, they're both gone. The only thing remain is Nami's sword on the ground. I walk towards it slowly, and with a sense of anxiety. Did all of their energy merge into this blade? I kneel down and pick it up with intense hesitation. If that was the case, its power was incredible. The power of Nami, the scepter, and myself. If anything could stop Nagi, it was this. When I picked it up, I hear clapping behind me. I turn to see Nagi standing by the throne room doors. He must have been watching, enjoying the show. His slow claps echo loudly throughout the chambers. He walks towards me and takes out his blade. I do the same in turn, and we meet in the middle. Which is kind of hard because there's these statues in the middle. We stand in front of each other, weapons outstretched. I can feel beads of sweat make their way down my body. Do you really think you can win, Dark? Remember what happened last time. You got lucky, but it won't happen twice. I stand my ground and grip the sword tighter. Last time, I didn't stand a chance. But with this sword, I might be able to win. Especially if it's connected to the power within me. We've harnessed for an eternity, you know. You were only created a decade ago. What makes you think you're stronger? Nami was much weaker than I am. And the scepter's power is almost gone. I don't see how you could defeat me. You might as well give up. Or at the very least, join me. Not everybody can wield that blade. He's insane if he thinks I'd want to join him. He and Nami must have destroyed so many reality planes. The lives of countless billions were in this blade. I wanted to free them, not harvest more. At the same time, he could easily defeat me. I'm unsure if I had enough power to stand up to him. There's a part of me that wants to join him. The souls inside me must be fighting one another. Conflicted, I presume. There's no surprise. given what you are. We're not so different, you know. Tools created by Father. No, tools created by the Federation. Only left with doubts when told the truth. If you didn't help him, he'd kill you. He did it to Nami without any hesitation. We are only fighting for our freedom. He lowers his blade, like Nami did earlier. Then he stares into my eyes and smiles. Don't you want freedom, too? Your destiny has never been your own. Everything has been decided for you. I'm not as evil as Father made me out to be. I'm just against his horrific ideas. He believes that slavery is acceptable. It's not just my freedom that I desire. I desire freedom for every living being. For that, the shackles must be destroyed. In this case, it was the Federation, and the scientists chosen as pawns. Believe me, they've been destroyed. But I realized there's even more. Our journey has been long, but I know it's nowhere near complete. There's nothing to connect anymore. We've harvested everything dark. Our reason to exist is now invalid. Your reason to exist is now invalid. But trust me, I know that's pain. Nami and I endured it for an eternity. All in the name of our noble goal. I can tell that what you're thinking right now. So many souls are contained within you, all fighting each other for dominance. Their viewpoints may always conflict, but one desire will always be universal. They all want freedom, to live again. I want that for you as well, Dark. But I won't just stop at you. I'll make sure everyone is truly free. I can't tell if he's genuine or playing me. As soon as he mentions inner conflict, my mind fires up. Millions of voices sound in my head, and it's insane. He uses this chance to start walking towards me. I can no longer grasp what thoughts are my own. I do agree with Nagi, or do I pose him? My grip on the blade tightens, and then loosens. His confusion allows him to keep approaching me. I mean you no harm. We don't have to fight. Not yet. I give you a chance to decide. Father told you a twisted tale. He must have made me seem so evil. But I have a tale of my own, you know. And I'd love to tell it to you. He approaches and places a hand on my shoulder. Feels like when Ryo did the same to me. It's familiar, yet a little worrisome. I don't think Nagi would be taking me to the Ark. He'll get a chance to see my home. I'm enveloped in a flash of white light, much like when Nami spun the gear on her blade. But this is different. We're moving. For a moment, I wonder where he would be taking me. Oh, all the way back to the beginning. Yeah, sure. It'd be hard to go back to there. Anyways. At another time, in a fit of panic. Balls. Do I want... I'm not sure how long this is going to be, but it seems so finale. Because usually when I'm close to the endings, I like to have them be extra long. But I'm not sure how long this would be. But maybe I could quickly look at things. Let's just keep going. An earlier time, and in a fit of panic, escapees from the Wayfarer Tavern hide in the forest. Fearing for their lives, they catch their breath. PB, you need to calm down, right now. We did everything we could. It's a miracle that we survived. Don't you dare tell me to calm down. Did you not see the same thing I did? They killed my brother thanks to you. This wasn't my fault, PB. You didn't see what those two could do. I'm sick. There we go. It would have been useless to contest them. Oh, so they killed them too? Please think about this rationally. I am upset, more than I've ever been. But I didn't want to add to the body count. It was your job to protect us, though. You've been doing it for years, rightly. You can't just come back from a fight. Alright, I guess I didn't write that one right. PB, I know this is difficult for you. We'd all be dead if we fought back. They have the power like I've never seen. We need to be thankful we escaped. I hope Trish and Kaylin did too. But trust me, Fidget's not gone yet. They skewered him right in front of us. I held him in my arms before we ran away. How could you say he's not gone? PB fumes in anger, but this time it's justified. Remember what Ryo told us, PB? Dark has the ability to fix all of this. Right now, we need to focus on survival. This will all blow over soon enough, and I'll get to see everybody again. Not just Fidget, but your mother too. Do you really believe that, Riley? Yes, with all of my heart. I know that Dark can do this. You're lying. You said we need to focus on survival, but then you said death is irrelevant, especially if Dark can reverse it. That's why I don't believe you, and why I think Fidget is really gone. You fear death. You don't want to die. You truly believe in Dark. You don't truly believe in Dark. You don't truly believe in Ryle's words. There's a part of you that knows the truth. Riley clenches his fist, unsure of what to say. You're holding on to a false hope, just like Fidget's been doing for years. I miss him, Riley. I miss him so much. And it's all your fault. PB leaps towards Riley, presumably to attack. Instead, he cries and hugs his friend. A fountain of tears runs down his face. I want him back. Riley embraces PB and starts to cry as well, shedding the first tears since the Exodus project. I open my eyes. I'm confused at what I see. There's also a weird sensation in the back of my mind. For some reason, I think I see Riley in PB. In front of me is actually a rusty hangar bay. I shake my head in an attempt to gain clarity. After a few moments, I notice Nagi approach me. Were Riley and PB in some sort of danger? If that was the case, I'm sure Nagi would know. I'm sorry for the mess, Dark. This room doesn't get much use. I promise the rest of the ship is clean. Rest of the ship? What does that mean? This is my home, the Terminus. A flagship vessel built by the Federation. Okay, so here's the thing. That's late game into Winds of Change. A certain somebody goes off into a place where nobody else can go. And there, they see a ship. And I think after they see that ship in a place where a ship, normally wouldn't be, it's in a lake, but, high in the mountains, I think he has a revelation about stuff. I wonder if this could be the ship. Built by the Federation, seized with force by my own hand. But please, follow me, Dark. This room doesn't befit our conversation. It's merely an organic landing pad. Organic landing pad? Yes, is able to transfer living beings, even if they are nowhere near the ship. As you can see, we don't get much company. He laughs, clearly a jab at the dilapidated room. I understand, though. It's like getting beamed up. He must have transferred us both from Terra's surface. I think you'll find this place beautiful. First impressions can be a damning thing. You must have thought I was ugly at first. Without even saying so, he starts to leave the room. I have no choice but to follow him with hesitation. I grip my new sword, ready to use it at any time. But when we exit, I see that it truly is beautiful. Everything is pristine. It's glossy and white. Several computer monitors display incomprehensible data. This technology is so advanced, I can barely grasp it. Federation must be eons ahead of Earth and Terra. I stare in awe and walk towards Nagi. He's walking fast, so I don't want to get lost. I have to run to catch up, as his stride is much longer. I'm taking you to the bridge. I thought it would be more fitting. No doubt you have lots of questions. I heard that what Father told you, but there's a lot more to it than that. Stories are rarely ever one-sided. I turn a few corners and I do my best to catch up. Nagi's demeanor is extremely different than I knew. I have some fright with me from our last meeting. A part of me fears that he might make a sudden move. But I don't blame you, Exodus. Wait, is it okay if I call you that? I wonder if I call myself that next time I play this. I think it fits you better, to be honest. Father got you first. It's a shame. To you first. Him and his people made a big impression. You're attached, and less open-minded. I have flashbacks to the first time I visited Terra. Riley got to Keela, and Millian and Conrad got to me. At that time, I sided with opposite parties, even thought about this correlation in my mind. But it couldn't be as simple as that. It implies there is no good or evil at play. Nagi attacked the Federation. He admitted this. And to top it all off, he tried to kill me. I have a reason for everything I've done. You sat through Father's story, Exodus. I hope you can do the same for mine. We're almost at the bridge, but it won't be much longer now. We can end this without violence. Take a few corners and I see a large door. It's likely the entrance to the bridge of the ship. Nagi keeps walking, and it opens upon his approach. I quickly enter after him, hoping it doesn't close. I knew something for sure. This is where it ended. Reach the point of no return. You will no longer have the ability to save. Many scenes will start playing out in the sequence, so you have enough time to watch the finale. As soon as I enter, I see Nagi standing at a terminal. I don't know what he's doing, but he sure does. His fingers tap away at the touchscreen with expertise. Also, how long does this have to be for it to, be a long sequence? Oh, maybe, I don't know. Should I make this like some kind of two-part or something, or just cut it off here? It does seem quite long, and if the game's like, hey, this is going to take forever, should probably do that too. Sorry. He's going to do the thing, and then I'm going to do it. Sorry. Man, end of this Let's Play. So comment, guys, like, comment, some you like, dislike, tips, tricks, always. If you like my YouTube and like see it grow, then please like, subscribe, and share the epic grow, and please remember Spain, your most epic control the pit population. And until next time, I'll say, me, GamerWolfSix of Major Minor. Game, of course, like per usual, starts off small and ends up with this big galactic thing. So, thanks and see ya.